This is hilarious. We're teabagging back through the wall, and then just teabagging. He's not even fighting the boss anymore. This is hilarious. This guy's unbelievable. This is teabagging back. This is hilarious. He ain't dying. It's not dying on my watch. So to show off this build, it's kind of tricky because I need someone to actually be able to deal the damage for me, since this is just a 100% pure support build. Now, I got a friend who's also, funny enough, using one of my builds that I made that will help me run through a 7 trial by fire. So 7 bosses, and then, well, technically 6 bosses, and then the 7th being the last boss in the game. If you want to watch the full trial by fire 7 boss rush on Apocalypse, I'll put it at the end of the video if you just want to see like how it operates. Now, because I'm not doing any damage really, I had to like play around with various items and tools throughout, and I kind of settled on anything that can like dish out a good chunk of damage. Weapons don't really matter. It's just kind of like whatever you want to bring with you that you feel can support your team. At first, I was trying to use the Redeemer just because I love it. It's like a good solid damage weapon. It doesn't require a lot of like bonuses to really be more effective. Kind of just effective as is. And so I made kind of like a rule for myself that I was not allowed to help. I was only allowed to heal. So later I do end up, I think, dealing some damage just because I'm helping him out. If you have a lot of summons and they keep dying, they will never die. And you'll notice during this fight, which is actually hilarious, you'll notice that this summon that my friend has out right now, it never dies simply because it's shielded for 100% of its health. And then it's also, whenever it drops below, you know, whenever the shield is gone, whenever it gets removed, if it does ever, I just heal him back up with one press of my skill button, which AoE heals everybody, with which I believe in a big meter radius. Like, you're not really gonna, you don't need to be close to do this. They don't need to be in the circle to do this. The only thing they need to be in this circle for is for that health regeneration, like passively. The effect, I believe, remains when you leave the circle, so you can get the application of it, step out, and I think it's good. And it'll stay on you for a little bit. As you can see here, my friend's doing a lot of damage. He's going through the first phase really quickly. He does get hit a few times. And so I always start with the shield, just so if he does get hit again, he doesn't die in one shot, right? Because you're essentially healing 100% of his health with the shield, or protecting him with the shield. And then you use that healing. Also, if you ever feel like you're out of charges with your healing shield, spam your primary skill button to get them back. As you can see, we're like doing pretty well for me not attacking, essentially. So, and you gotta remember, this guy has a lot more health because I'm in the game, so my friend's not doing as much damage as he could be. He does get hit a few times, so it's really nice to show off like how well he is taking damage. I actually think I told my friend to just not dodge at all and just get hit, just to show off how crazy this is. I think he has about 60% damage reduction, which is probably around what you might have in a really, really good, solid, all-around Apocalypse build. So you can see my friend takes half the damage. He heals it immediately back as soon as I cast my spell. A lot of the time, you don't need to spam the heal. If there's something big incoming or there's a lot of damage going on, then obviously that's when you want to spam it. But as you can see, I can heal them very quickly at distance. I don't need to be near them. I don't need to worry about relic charges. I always have my healing up and available. You essentially have infinite healing capability when you're using this build. Also, it's even better if, for example, they have melee and they're usually close and taking a lot of damage. This will make sure that they can always just have as much melee as they want. Just rip through anything that they're fighting. Obviously, for certain bosses, that's not going to be viable, but you get my point. So as you can see here, he like took a chunk of damage, and I basically just healed it back instantaneously. As long as the people you're healing, as I said, can take one hit, a minimum of 1 to 2 hits, you're basically never ever going to have an issue. If they do get downed, you can shield them, prevent them from taking any extra damage on their timeout bar when they're down. So it's actually really handy to use that healing shield to prevent them from dying while they're down if they're taking a lot of damage. And as you can see, even I can take a few hits. I'm not super tanky. Obviously, I'm wearing medium armor, and even I can technically have more damage reduction. I'm just, you know, you need the fashion. Are you even playing this game if you don't have good drip? Seriously. And as you can see, Summon is still alive. It's kind of hilarious. So honestly, like, this did take quite a while. My friend isn't as experienced fighting this boss. He doesn't really fight this boss very often, but he's still doing a really good job dealing good amount of damage, generally speaking, for a boss that's moving around all the time, because Annihilation just moves all the time. Hard to get that DPS with this build. Alright, so here we're just going to quickly go over the items. Pretty much basic stuff. You're just really using cooldown reduction, and then you're going to be using skill duration and cast speed, because obviously you want to cast as fast as possible. I use the cube gun just for its mod. Use this coach run just for that burst DPS and the time freeze, of course. Ankle heart. And I have pretty decent damage reduction. I'm just using medium armor for decent size dodge and decent size of damage reduction. Invoker first, because you do need 2 charges of everything to make it go really well, and you need the prime perk. Medic secondary, you're using this skill that will heal over time. I'll get into that a little bit later. And healing shield, just honestly, you have 100% uptime on shield for everybody. It's awesome. So skill cooldown reduction, damage reduction, and then cast speed, just so you can cast those things a bit faster. You can swap out cast speed for more health if you want, but of course, don't forget the star of the show, the legendary perk here that cuts your cooldowns in half. So if you have 80%, you'll actually get 90%. Even though it doesn't say it, you are getting that skill cooldown reduction. So that's how I'm spamming my ability so much. All right, so first off, for the cube gun, you're primarily just using this mod to just keep yourself alive and avoid projectiles. You can also shoot while you're at it. The mod I have is whenever you shoot an enemy, it inflicts the status effect that does damage over time. If you inflict 3 enemies with it, which is the maximum, you can actually increase your fire rate. It's not going to be big damage or anything. You're simply support. But if you feel like you need to do a little bit of damage or shoot, I'm not even shooting half the time, just to show off how funny it is that everyone can stay alive. I'm using the coach gun, where it's good, like, chunks of damage that you can use if something's charging you and trying to kill you. And obviously it's using time lapse mod to slow enemies and freeze them, which lets your team kill enemies much better. So when I activate this skill, I get healing from healing shield, and of course its overtime effect, plus the way of Maedra. I believe that's how you say it. And upon the initial cast, you'll actually get a large percentage of health. And I'm going to try to show you this really quickly. I think it's like, if I'm correct, I think it was 19 health per second. It's really hard to see here. I'm trying to show it off. But essentially, whenever you're spamming this, as long as they can tank 1 hit, they can heal up the full, basically, straight up after. And a lot of times, if you're rocking Apocalypse, you'll have enough health you'll have enough damage reduction to tank like 1 or 2 hits minimum. As long as everyone on your team has damage reduction, you're basically fine. Primarily, I was not trying to kill any enemies. For a little bit, I was just like using my melee weapons and stuff and just throwing my spear. But generally speaking, I don't start helping until later, because obviously whenever you have more players in a game, technically the enemies are a bit harder. I believe they have more health, and I believe they do more damage when they hit you. I'm not 100% sure on the damage part of that, but they do in fact have more health. So when it comes to like doing some damage, I think it's, you know, nice to have a little bit of damage. And as you can see here, like whenever I'm trying to shoot, I can kill enemies. It's not super effective, right? Because that's not your job. It's not my job. I'm just trying to keep everybody healed up maximum and keep their shield up 24/7. So you won't be doing a lot of damage with this. If you're in a team of 3, which is preferably when you want to use this, you'll get more effectiveness out of it because you are using it all the time, helping your team so they can just focus on dealing damage. For some bosses, this kind of sucks. Like in this instance right now with my friend here, I'm going in and I'm trying to like boost his damage in some way because this enemy is kind of annoying because it moves around so much, so my friend can't like DPS him properly. But I'm literally just here to try to show you how insane this build can be. Now there are some weird interactions with health shield. Really weird. You'll notice if I try to use health shield while my friend has 50% of his shield left, for some reason it won't fully shield his health. Not sure why that is. Perhaps just a glitch, or maybe there's like an internal cooldown for like how many times you can apply a shield. But it does seem really scuffed with like whenever I try to apply it, it would only apply a portion of it for some reason. I don't know why. So generally speaking, a way around this is just to make sure whenever he loses 100% of his shield, that's when you cast it back, and it will apply 100% on his health. Completely 100% of his health shield. And you may notice it a few times throughout the fight where I'll cast it and it only gives like a small percentage of his health for some reason. As I said, I assume it's just some type of glitch that's just not, maybe it's like an oversight or something, I really don't know. But when it comes down to it, it's still insanely good because you have that health regeneration. If you are playing with people who don't have a lot of damage reduction and they get one shot all the time, this build can't save them. Much like any other support build or healing build, you can't just save people from dying, right? Generally speaking. Now with the healing shield, it can prevent them from getting one shot. But if they don't have the healing shield on, which they should all the time because you have infinite uptime, if they don't have the healing shield on, you should be spamming your first primary ability, which is that AoE heal. It'll heal them, it'll give them life leech, and it'll give them health over time. And it'll give them I think it's like for 1 second, it'll give them a large portion of their health back. And it's based on percentages, so it's actually really good for healing. But now I'm going to just show you the rest of the Trial by Fire run that I did. Won't be any commentary after this point, so enjoy.
Eyes up! I...
Alright, thanks for watching. If you keep digging, you eventually find water. Everybody knows that. Just gonna watch me dig this hole. You can stay to watch me dig this hole if you want. It's a little weird though.